Wasn't it so funny when I posted weekly for a few months, and then when I actually said in the intro I posted weekly, I dropped off the face of the earth? Woo! Hi again, every pony. It's been a wild few months, and I know every YouTuber says that when they disappear, but like really, truly, I feel like I just gave myself too much credit calling myself a YouTuber. That's how long I've been gone. Firstly, I apologize for not posting as much after I just said I would post weekly. It's fine, but college work, bad roommates, and numerous health issues, and a few mentee fees over financials, and transferring schools, and getting bad grades, and possibly never seeing my friends again. It's been rough. Honestly, I don't even know where to start. If you're new here, hi, I'm Ava. I draw shit sometimes. Eventually, I will. I mostly just hang around and talk. You can put me on in the background while you're doing dishes or you're drawing too. I don't know, maybe you could twin. It'd be cute if we twinned. Oh, hi, twin. I mostly just talk about my life and things I like, and hopefully other people like it too. So here's what you missed when I wasn't posting, or basically what I missed telling you. I'll make it concise because this is a lot. College work got stupid intense. I got a bad professor who really pushed me in the wrong ways, and I cried in his class a few times, which I'm not someone who doesn't cry, that's for sure. I cry every 3 seconds, but I try not to cry in class. I had a bad habit of it in elementary school. I try not to, but he really pushed me. He's one of those who paints over your stuff and smiles at you like he did something after. I spent a lot of last semester sitting in the hallway licking my wounds or drowning them in Bueno bars. Those are fire. All that mess to get my first B in college too, which really made it feel like it was all for nothing. Shit sucks, and I have to take them again next semester. This time though, it'll be easier. I have friends in my class who are good to me and cover when I leave for a very long time to go miraculously disappear into the bathroom, aka talk to my favorite professor instead. And this time around, I'm gonna get a revenge A, just to tell this guy he can shove it. I was also pretty tough on myself for the projects that I would assign to myself. Not things I didn't do for school, the things that I did for school, but I got to choose what I did. I was very hard on myself. I'm trying to teach myself better digital techniques because a lot of my professors don't really know what they're doing in that field. They're older, so it's mostly up to me, and teaching yourself things requires a lot of being nasty to yourself. Ugh. And I was teaching all myself the hard things, or hard for me, value scales and like buildings, backgrounds, the stuff that no one really likes to touch because I haven't really touched it. And it was a lot. I put a lot of pressure on myself for pretty much no reason other than I want to be good at things. It's just really hard to be good at things. I gave myself such a headache over it, and I gave myself way too many headaches over it. This year, I'm trying to be nicer to myself, though I don't regret how hard of a teacher I was to myself, because I did learn a lot. I just also learned that pushing myself that hard probably isn't a good idea. I had a bad roommate, which life can be as hard as it wants to be, and it won't matter because at least you come home and you lie in your bed, you smell your fresh laundry, you do your dishes, you make a meal, and you enjoy the little things to keep you sane. Unless you have a bad roommate. Now, I'm going to emphasize my old roommate was not a bad person. We got along okay, but our styles of living were just very different and incompatible. I think I said something similar in my vlog when I was recording my room and whatever. I figured I'd reiterate. We just didn't work. She wasn't insane or anything. It made everything else very difficult, especially since my last roommate was an angel and we got along perfectly. So I had very high standards, and it was hard to see people this year too. I was very lonely. All my friends live at different places now, so it's harder to see each other. And I just was very isolated and very infuriated. It was a lot. It's a lot. It's just very sad. But I moved out, and it has been fantastic so far. I swear. The second I got out of my room, it felt like life had color again. I was excited to put on clothes in the morning and cook and smell the air and do all the small things. So my new roommate is so sweet. She's so interesting too. She's like really accomplished. I'd say more, but I don't want to expose her, so just know that she's actually a badass. Moving out was actually a very silly story as to how that happened, but I'm not gonna say anything because I might make a story time, so spoilers. I had so many health issues, and I'm still having health issues. It's been horrific. I've had a few stints with my health, but you know, like the occasional uterus trying to explode on you, but I've never had surgery, I've never broken a bone, I've never done any of that. My health has been pretty okay, but this year, no, fuck me. It's just been one thing after the next. Seriously, I just could not catch a break. First, I managed to get, this is actually a whole chain of events, so strap in. First, I managed to get bit by a tick in Manhattan, which is deranged, but it's even more funny when you consider I live on Long Island, in Suffolk. You know, the place that's all bugs and tall grass to the point where celebrities have articles written about how they suddenly have Lyme's disease because they went to Long Island. Yeah, that's where I live. I even went to a summer camp that was known for how many kids got ticks, and still I had never gotten a single tick bite in my life until this one patch of grass next to Penn Station. Are you kidding? Tick bites aren't terrible, so it was whatever, but I didn't even notice I got bit until turns out that tick was so damn bad at its job, regardless of the fact that it was in the city instead of in the wild, like where ticks go. It bit me so bad, it fell off halfway after puncturing my skin, leaving the wound open, so it got infected, because of course it did, causing me to have to take antibiotics for a few weeks and get blood work. So, what? It was nasty too, it looked crazy, and I couldn't, if I so much as bumped into a wall, oh my god, it felt like I got like a magnet shot through me. It was terrible. It was like that for 2 weeks, I think. Awful. Blood work was rough as hell too, because I'm deathly terrified of needles, always have been. I cry every time I get needles, doesn't matter how old I am. It's very scary work for me, so getting blood work, not easy. But I didn't punch the nurse that time, so live, love, love. No salt and battery charge for me. But turns out the antibiotic I was taking for that infection, I was allergic to it. What else is new? And nobody knew that until I had suddenly broken out into hives for 3 days, and they were itchy. I couldn't even hide it. Like, I had a scarf on, but you could see it crawl up my chin. Like, oh, it was bad. And I had to go to school. Oh, I had to go to school. I'm so pressed about that. It was so bad. Hives are awful. Literally never have those. And of course, I had the few fits of flu and colds that were just way too strong for me. Just nonsense. Absolute nonsense. I'm having some issues right now with health, because of course I am, but they're ongoing, and I'd rather tell y'all when I have the full story, so just know it's not over. Let's just say I've had blood work 3 times in the past 2 weeks, and we still don't know what's going on. I'm transferring. I'm transferring schools, so that's terrified. I'm terrifying. I have a lot of feelings about it. I honestly don't really want to transfer. In my heart, I don't, but I'm just caught between 2 bad options and don't really have another choice. When I was in my journal writing about the situation, I wrote, it's either leave, do all the new kid shit again, start from zero, and never have what I have now again, or stay and still not have it. Why can't good things ever stay? I don't want to never see my friends again, save for occasional trips into the city or when we get married, because I love them, and I love my school. For as fucked up as it is, this campus is beautiful, and the environment is friendly, and I know the streets like I know my own fingernails, because it's mine. But I won't feel like it is soon enough. Basically, my program isn't holding it up for me anymore. I talked about my crisis briefly earlier in my video before I dipped, but my classes just aren't getting me where I need to go. They're not as challenging as I'd like them to be, and I'm not going to pay money to go to college if I'm not learning anything. And a lot of my friends actually feel the same way. A lot of people in my major are either dropping or leaving, or it's not going to be the same, you know? And it's a big chunk of people. It's not just like 5. It's like at least 20. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be the Great Migration. It'll be noticeable. Plus, my closest friends are also leaving. So even if everyone else stayed, it would just be very empty, and it wouldn't be the same, you know? So my choice is to leave my lovely campus and go to a school that I think could foster the need that I have to learn and have everything change, or stay and have everything change anyway. Whatever. From my journal again, quote, change is never welcome. Why must it break down my door anyway? Isn't it funny that I made a video about goodbyes in the summer before I knew I would actually have to say goodbye to the things that have made me so happy? Ugh! I'm still very sore about this, but I'm holding on to the fact that I'm lucky enough to have all this time left with them before everything changes. Like, I'm very fortunate to know that this time of everything having the sameness has an expiration date, so I can really burn it all into my brain before I leave, you know? It's a blessing and a ticking time bomb at the same time, but I'm choosing to see the blessing more because I can acknowledge the bomb at night when I'm alone and I have my journal. That's the long and short of it, but all of this is happening at the same time and all within 2-3 months, and it has been awful. Not to mention all the fucking paperwork from moving and transferring and oh, it's been awful. It's not gonna stay that way. I'm sure that the rest of y'all have had some rough 2024s too. It's been a really weird year. We've got a whole lot more time now to do awesome shit than sit around thinking about the old bad stuff, right? So instead, we should sit around and think about the old awesome stuff.
Bad shit happens, but cool shit happens too. And in order to keep myself sane, it helps me to think about the cool shit and be like, okay, bad shit happens, but it only happened so that cool shit can happen, right? So in my head, with all this bad shit that's happening, something awesome is going to happen next. And I hope that for all of you guys, for now, I just kind of want to think about the good stuff that did happen this year, because a lot of bad shit happened, but the good stuff was obviously a lot better. So here's all this cool stuff that I did this year.
I finally told my crush I loved them with all the words instead of pastries and paintings, so I didn't escape it. And they asked me out in the most romantic way they could have possibly done. So we've been cooking together, watching TV, and playing D&D like true dorks in love since August, and we'll hit 6 months soon, which is so exciting. And I love you, Lilia. I know you watch these. I finally started a Tumblr, and I swear this isn't a plug, unless you want it to be at AvaBA on Tumblr. Tumblr seems to be convinced that I'm a diehard I don't know how you say the ship name, Sonadao, but I've unfortunately only played Sonic All-Star Racing, which is the best game ever made because I don't see Mario Kart with NASCAR racer Janica Patrick. I cut off all my hair at the beginning of the year, had the Bixie of my dreams, grew it out, dyed it my favorite shade of red, and went platinum blonde and bleached my eyebrows. I got into cooking, which is a miracle because I'm damn awful at it. My favorite thing I've made this year has been this like weird salad thing because I'm a back in the pantry cook. It was black beans, teriyaki beef, oranges, apples, and avocados in a bowl, chopped up. So fire, dude. I got to go to a Barbie museum and see all kinds of vintage Barbies. Infinity Nikki dropped, and I think that made my life, forget my year. I ran my first D&D campaign as a DM, and my friends loved it! I had impromptu sleepovers at my friends' houses a lot. One was an entire state away, and another one let me experience my first authentic Italian Sunday dinner. I got to go to New York Comic Con dressed as my favorite video game character, and I got so many compliments on my cosplay. It was so fun. I got so many dream shoes this year. I made so many amazing new friends in weird places, and I mean weird places. I will tell those stories if they give me permission, but trust, weird places. I went to an Alice in Wonderland themed cafe and bought my boyfriend flowers for the first time. I wore full Lolita for the first time, which I didn't particularly love because it made me a little dysphoric, but I'm happy I tried it. I got to use real color science technology to measure light and wavelengths and stuff, and I'm a bit of a science dork, so that's a big deal to me. I did so much goddamn karaoke. I went to New York Fashion Week. I finally got to try my best friend's favorite bakery that he's been raving about since we were 15. I was a swim teacher again and got to play in the water all summer and got paid for it. I read 23 good books, which is lower than my usual, but they were thick. Thickness. I went to a petting zoo. I got into embroidery, hand beading, and upcycling things. I learned how to use a sewing machine and made a bunch of cool stuff. I went to a furry rave because I could. I jumped in the bay and swam in the sunset, also because I could. I played Skyrim for the first time. I saw Peach PRC, Melanie Martinez, and Cherry Glazer in concert. I went to the beach a lot. I played a lot of pickleball, which I think is the dumbest sport after bowling, but you do what you do. I had a pomegranate party. If you're wondering what that is, awesome. I made lots of ice cream cake. Lots. I painted a mural in a public school. I went ice skating. I celebrated 420 in Central Park with some friends. I went to a lot of museums. I plan to continue going to a lot of museums. It's probably going to be one of the first things I do when I go back to the city. I saw that eclipse in April, like everybody else. It feels like a sneak, but it's pretty cool that we got to see that. I snuck onto my school roof to go dance with my friends at like 9 p.m. and it's really one of my favorite memories. I helped my friends adopt a mouse in secret and then also helped them bring it back when they realized they were not responsible enough for a little guy. Lots of partying and dancing and birthdays and so many more good days to outbalance the bad things. Basically, shit's been rough for me, but it's been good too. I hope that if you had a rough time last year, you can make a list about all the good stuff too and feel all those warm fuzzies and bring them into the next year, because Lord knows we need it. We've got this! It'll be better because I say it will be. In the background, I'm working on on a piece for a possible comic pitch that I'm working on. I found an opportunity to pitch a comic and I was like, well, might as well. I've never really seen myself as someone who could do comics. I mean, I've been into them. I've definitely read my fair share of comics. I've made a few too, but I don't know. I've just never seen myself as making a comic, but you know what? Whatever. Why not, you know? This is actually the background of one of the worlds I'm working on. Yeah, it's been a real work in progress. It's been a bitch. I hate how time consuming this stuff is, but hey, it works out, you know? That's really all I got to say. I'm feeling very hopeful and joyous today, so I don't know when I'll see you, but see you soon. Okay, bye.